The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Redmond, Washington, on your new Pierce Volterra, job number 04617. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting at the front of the apparatus, you'll find your electronic siren on the passenger and driver side. Just inside that location, dual air horns. There is also 2 tow hooks protruding through the front bumper. These are operational use and 6,000 pounds direct pull only. Moving toward the center, you'll find your mechanical siren in the front bumper cutout. As we move to the cab section, on the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator light, and then also the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam is located on the inside. Just above that, emergency warning light cluster, and then grab handle located above that. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the outer edge of the A-pillar, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. There is an additional convex mirror downward facing on the officer side A-pillar. There are 5 identification clearance lights across the brow of the apparatus. You'll also find a forward-facing floodlight located on the very top section of the roof. Onto the top of the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within inside the light bar is your opticom. Let's move around now to the driver's side of the vehicle, starting first at the front axle, where you'll find Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge into the center of the axle. Also moving to the forward section of the cab, you'll find an emergency warning light. Easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are the door lock and latch combination. They are keyed. Right next to that, you'll find a grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab for maintaining 3 points of entry. You'll also find your shoreline inlet. This is a 30 amp shoreline auto eject. Also emergency warning light right over the front axle. As we move up from this location over the driver door, you'll find a side-facing scene light, and just to the rear of that location on the raised section, you'll find an emergency warning light. Moving toward the rear of the cab is your water tank level indicator. Let's move toward the midsection of the vehicle, where you'll find your battery located within this housing. We'll move on to the pump panel in just a few moments. As we start into the body section, you'll find wheel checks, storage location, front and rear of the axle, also emergency warning lights in the rub rail. Moving up, marker turn indicator light just forward of the front axle, along with pan doors located in front and rear of the axle for bottle storage and also fill location for DEF and diesel. Emergency warning light directly over the rear axle. Moving up into the hatch compartments, you'll find a forward and rear emergency warning light. And also at the rear section, you'll find a side-facing scene light. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. First, starting on the left and right side, you'll find emergency, brake, turn, and reverse cluster. You'll also find a rear-facing scene light, and then just above that, emergency warning lights. As we move just above the door section in the lower portion, you'll find all of our discharges. They are color-coded and labeled. As we move to the far right, you'll find D-handle gains you access for your storage location for ground ladders, and then also a backup camera, which is recessed in the body. At the very top section into the hatch compartments, you'll find D-handle gains you access into these storage locations in the upper section. Let's take a look at the full view from the passenger side. And we'll move into the body section next. This is the side that houses your exhaust tailpipe. Moving into the midsection and then into the cab area. Let's go ahead and move around to the driver's side of the vehicle. We'll start in the driver's space. Starting first into the driver's space with the door open, we'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information. You'll also find the location of the door lock and latch, electric window controls, and grab handle. Let's go ahead and move inside the cab area, first starting with the step well. As we move into the forward section of the step well, this is the location where you'll find an air inlet. It is recessed. And then we'll move to about the floorboard area or engine tunnel, where you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. This also has the VIN number, fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. To the floorboard, you'll find an air horn and mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move to the left knee of the operator, you'll find your master battery switch. It's a quarter turn. Also a tech module, engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port, and also display port in the lower section. We do have some indicators and switches in the lower section. First, start with the 12 volt, 24 volt keep alive active, high voltage active indicator. Also ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit switches. Let's move to the opposite side of the steering column, where you'll find your pump shift, instructions from road to pump, and then also instructions from pump to road. As a reminder, need 2 green indicators, pump engaged, and OK to pump indicators illuminating when exiting the cab for pump operations. To the right of this location is where you'll find your mirror control for flat and convex mirror. And as we move to the dash, we'll start in the upper left-hand corner with an indicator indicating EV ready. As we move down, you'll find your start ignition switch. Also to the right, a switch labeled EM, Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights. Headlight switch and a panel switch, allowing you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. Also to the right, you'll find your OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. As we move to the dash cluster, you'll find your transmission temp, oil pressure, def level, and water temp. To the right, volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information displays above and below the tachometer, with tally lights in the upper and lower section, and in the very center section, a digital readout information center. Let's move just to the right of the steering column. General view. We'll start first with your display screen. Tremendous amount of information at your fingertips. It is a touch screen and also function button. As we move down to the switch panel, you'll find on the left aux brake on and off, aux brake high or low, tire chains, mirror heat, and diff lock. Let's move just down from this location, where you'll find the pull to apply or system parking brake and push to release. This is the rear spring brake. Also to the right, you'll find your transmission push button pad. You'll find you have reverse neutral drive, also an EV button, and up or down. Informational note here to pump in drive. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Moving further to the right, you'll find your unit fire radio. And then as we move just forward to this location, you'll find these red and white candy cane labeled indicators indicating spare wire behind this panel. Also has an option number for your reference. Over the driver's seat, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 9 feet 10 inches, along with the length, 31 feet 5 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating, 49,500 pounds. If you make any changes to your vehicle, they may alter this placard. Please update the placard for your operator. Also to the right, you'll find your emergency master, electronic siren, load manager, alarm silence, and fog snow light. To the right, master scene, front flood, rear scene, passenger scene, perimeter lights, opticom, and siren brake. Electronic siren and PA speaker system. Overhead in the center, you'll find this red light flashing, indicating you may have a compartment door open or ajar, along with your seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green in the seat and belted. To the rear of the driver and passenger seat, you'll find your cradle point along with a 12-volt access bus style. Let's move into the rear section of the cab. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information. You'll also find electric window control, door lock and latch, and a grab handle. Overhead, you'll find your air conditioning unit, push on and off white or red lens lights. As we move to the rear-facing location, you'll find two compartments here with shelves and netting. There are forward-facing seats located on the rear cab wall. Also at the ceiling level, additional storage location both on the passenger and driver side. Let's take a look at the driver's side rear-facing location compartment, netting along with a compartment light inside and adjustable shelf. In between the two of these compartments at the rear, you'll find your access panel located here for gaining access for oil and transmission. Also to the far right behind the officer seat, additional storage overhead. In the lower section, rear-facing additional storage, netting, and compartment light. As we move to the rear cab wall, you'll find two forward-facing seats that do house SCBA brackets along with a tilt-down seat on the passenger side. On the rear wall, you'll also find a flashlight storage location and charger. Along with on the wall, 12-volt access via bus style and cigarette lighter. Fold-up seat in the right side. As we move to the exterior and the battery storage location, this is the location for your cut cable. Also a activation for not to charge, and then also indicator reference lights. Let's move now to the pump panel area. We'll start at the very top section. We have on the left side our dead lays and then also a reel cutout for our booster line. Let's start with the pump panel items, starting first with the warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because of the dead lay, there is the possibility of entanglement. Also to the right, we'll find our main pump intake gauge and then also main pump discharge gauge. In between the two of these are your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. You also have a water tank level indicator to the right of the pump discharge. Let's move down and slightly to the left where you'll find some switches and also your OK to pump indicator along with a push button for your air horn, which is a red colored switch. As we move down, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. Let's go ahead and move just slightly to the right where you'll find your fire pump primer. There are instructions for its operation on the placard below. Also, may be difficult to see here, this is an audible speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate for audible, increase or decrease. Pressure throttle governor located just below that, along with your engine cooler, which is a twist. Let's move down on the pump panel. We'll identify a few more items. One, driver 1 and officer 2 discharges, along with two electric valves. First is the large diameter passenger side discharge, green in color, and then also the electric valve here, which controls your deck gun. Moving just to the right, you'll find your minimum operation maintenance schedule. To the right of that, you'll find your inlet valve. Also to the right, tank fill recirculating line, a warning placard indicating fall. When climbing on or off the vehicle, please face the vehicle. And then just underneath that, you'll find your tank to pump. Down in the lower left, you'll find a driver main inlet indicator for valve positioning. Let's move just to the left. First, we'll start with the driver 1 2.5-inch discharge. And then also your intake relief valve is located here for instructions. They're on the face of the placard. To the right, once again, driver main inlet indicator. And then just underneath that, a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. And then also your wattress placard indicating the capacity of your pump, which is 2,000 GPM. Let's continue to move down on the pump panel and to the right where you'll find the Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet, also relief valve located behind the pan door. You do have an auxiliary inlet, 2.5-inch, locally controlled via the ball valve, female inlet. Also warning regarding only trained personnel should operate the piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains at the bottom. main pump drain, and also manual pump shift. In the running board, we do have a cutout here for additional hose storage. As we move into the compartments themselves, let's take a look inside in the first compartment on the upper section. And then as we move to the over wheel compartment, direct battery access here for 12-volt bus style. As we move to the forward section, you have SCBA bottle storage location here for an air pack. To the rear axle, Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel. As we move to the rear section of the axle, bottle storage for a single bottle. Also the fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel, silver cap, and then also 4.5 US gallon DEF tank, which is the blue cap. As you move to the rear compartment, you do have adjustable shelves and a vertical divider. We're on to the rear of the apparatus. Let's start in those upper compartments. First in the hatch area on the left, access to the rear. Also on the right, you have access also. Down below this, you'll find rear scene lights, a cupped switch. Then as we move to the hose bed itself, you can find all of your bundles and then a hose bed divider and backboard storage. This is on the passenger side upper hatch compartment, rear access. And then just below this, you'll find 24-foot and 14-foot roof ladder, along with a 10-foot attic and pike pole and trash hook storage. Warning here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the rear compartment, and then we'll move around now to the passenger side rear compartment. In the upper left-hand corner of this compartment, when plugged into Shoreline Power, this outlet will become active. As we move to the over wheel compartment next, you have pegboard on the rear wall along with bottle storage in the front and rear. On the pegboard in the upper corner vertical side, you'll find 12-volt DC, which is a bus bar access. As we move to the rear of the axle, bottle storage for 3 bottles along with your rear axle, Michelin tire, Alcoa wheel. To the forward section, 2 bottle storage locations here. As you move down from this location, exhaust located here. And into the compartment itself, adjustable shelving. We'll move now into the pump panel area on the passenger side, starting first up at the very top section where you'll find your booster line cutout. Then as we move forward to that location, the dead lay storage. There is easy access to the pump panel area with a pump panel access panel here. As we move into the pump panel, warning placard here regarding climbing on or off the vehicle. Please face the vehicle. Your valve here for your large diameter inlet and also indicator of that position of the valve. Moving to the right, warning placard indicating pressure hazard. And then also your American flag Eagle Pierce logo, large diameter pump inlet. And then also once again warning placard, and at the upper section in the far right, that's going to be your cab lift. As we move into the cab lift, there are instructions for raise and lower, also some caution and danger placard information, along with an indicator that your cab not locked indicator. Let's move down to the very bottom where we find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Forward of this location, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet locally controlled via the ball valve. As we move down to the running board, you'll find additional storage here for your inlet, hose, dry deck, and Velcro tie downs. Just forward of this location in the battery section in the cutout area or pan door area, this is where you'll find the cut switch for your high voltage batteries. As we move inside the rear section of the cab, affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and window control and a grab handle. Once again, air conditioning, push on and off white or red lens lights. We've kind of seen the compartments within this space, but there is one on the passenger and driver side, shelving and LED lighting inside. This is the fold-up seating location on the outer portion of the cab. Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge indicator. We're now into the officer space next. Let's move into this area. First, starting with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. As we move to the seat, this is the officer seat. It does house an SCBA bracket along with a supplemental restraint system. Warning placard indicating spare wiring behind the panel. As we move forward to this location, you'll find 12-volt access via barrel style. And then as we move overhead of the officer seat, we do have a few items here. First, a switch panel. Starting first in the switch panel with your master scene, front flood, driver scene, passenger scene, rear scene, and momentary opticom. Also your Firecom control module here for volume and squelch. And then just underneath that location is the wireless base station for your Firecom headset system. All compartments open now on the passenger side. Let's go ahead and move up into the dunnage and top section. First in the dunnage area, we have our water tank access here. Yellow diamond reflective indicating the walking surface for firefighter safety. Also indicating a non-walking surface here on the cab area. That's why we have these warning placards located here. Also battery cut location here on the very top here behind the pan door. I've got a close-up here of the top section of those access panels here. And once again, inside that compartment is where you'll find the cut loop for your high voltage electrical. As we move toward the dunnage section, you'll also find your booster line and master stream device. It is an extend-a-gun. As we move into the top section of control here, we do have an electric switch here for valve control for your master stream device. And then also just a quick look into the dunnage area where your water tank is located for top fill. As we move into the outer sections of the hatch compartment, you'll find 2 forward hatch and 2 rear hatch on both passenger and driver side. Dry deck material inside those compartments along with LED lighting. As we move to the hose bed area, you'll find the adjustable hose bed divider. Let's go ahead and take a look at some chassis photos now. We'll start first with the front section of the cab tilted. We'll go under in the engine space and also the frame rails. Let's identify a few items within this area. First, underneath you'll find your tow hooks located on the right and left frame rail. As we move into the cab tilt area, just as a reminder, when tilting the cab, maintain equal pressure on both left and right cylinders. Once the cab is fully upright, place the safety bar into position. Do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Maintain equal cab lift pressure on both right and left cylinders. Your vehicle is equipped with a TAC 4 independent front suspension for increased ride comfort and braking ability. There'll be no additional audio from this point Congratulations, Redmond, Washington, on your new Volterra, job number 40617. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.